Though it already looked fun, the news that the legendary Steven Spielberg enjoyed The Fall Guy makes Ryan Gosling's upcoming action comedy even more exciting. The Fall Guy is a forthcoming action comedy based on the TV series of the same name from the 1980s. Directed by Deadpool 2 Helmer David Leitch, The Fall Guy stars Ryan Gosling as the veteran action choreographer and stuntman Colt Seavers. Seavers is forced to become a reluctant action hero when the star of his ex-girlfriend's blockbuster goes missing during shooting. Rather than allow her big-budget debut to fall apart, Seavers promises to track down the movie's missing star. This ingenious premise makes the upcoming Gosling movie pretty exciting, but there are a few more reasons that 2024's The Fall Guy is among the year's most promising releases. Emily Blunt co-stars as Gosling's love interest, while the supporting cast includes Bullet Train's Aaron Taylor-Johnson, Everything Everywhere All at Once breakout star Stephanie Sue, and Ted Lasso's Hannah Waddingham. On the topic of Bullet Train, Leitch has proven repeatedly that he can blend comedy and action perfectly with that 2022 hit and Deadpool 2. While his earlier effort Atomic Blonde was more intense, Leitch's recent movies have been perfectly balanced action comedies. Why Steven Spielberg's huge praise for The Fall Guy is a big deal. Spielberg's The Fall Guy review is great news for the blockbuster. All of these positive signs are great, but none of them can quite compare to The Fall Guy getting the seal of approval from one of the best directors to ever work in Hollywood. According to a recent Variety interview, Gosling said that Spielberg took the actor aside to tell him how much he loved The Fall Guy. While the chance to see Gosling play a himbo hero in The Fall Guy would be worth the ticket price for many viewers, Spielberg's comment might be one of the best cosigns any movie can receive since he is one of the most influential directors ever. More specifically, Spielberg is an icon of action cinema. From Minority Report to Raiders of the Lost Ark to Jurassic Park, the director has made some of the best action movies in cinema history. As such, the news that Spielberg loved The Fall Guy is a huge vote of confidence for the movie's blend of large-scale action set pieces and character comedy. While Gosling has humor and charisma in abundance, this isn't always enough to buoy a flawed script or a misguided project. As such, hearing that Spielberg himself can vouch for The Fall Guy is, as Gosling himself noted, more than enough. The Fall Guy already looked like one of 2024's most exciting action movies. Gosling, Blunt, and Leitch already made The Fall Guy an exciting prospect. Fortunately for the filmmakers, audiences who haven't heard about Spielberg's opinion will still be looking forward to The Fall Guy. Both Gosling and Blunt have impressive pedigrees when it comes to action and comedy, and The Fall Guy's trailers have all looked great so far. While it might be based on a relatively obscure TV show, The Fall Guy uniting Oppenheimer and Barbie's stars means that the movie won't struggle when it comes to star power or audience appeal. Meanwhile, Leitch's reliably skillful filmmaking seems to shine through in the action-packed trailers, which don't skimp on explosions and chases. Blunt's role in Looper proved that she had action chops, but it was the 1-2 punch of Edge of Tomorrow and Sicario that proved she was ideal for The Fall Guy. Meanwhile, Gosling's role in Drive showed his action hero potential over a decade ago, but 2016's The Nice Guys went on to prove action comedy was a perfect fit for him. Shane Black's underrated buddy comedy cast Gosling as a hapless but lovable PI and, in the process, The Nice Guys proved The Fall Guy's leading man was ideally suited to playing the movie's battered stunt coordinator. Will The Fall Guy be a box office success? The Fall Guy faces some competition at the box office. Ryan Gosling as Colt Seavers in a fluorescent outfit in The Fall Guy. While The Fall Guy might be perfectly cast, that doesn't mean that Gosling and Blunt will be able to repeat their box office successes from 2023. The Fall Guy will face some box office competition when the movie arrives in May. The Fall Guy's own opening weekend is relatively safe, with the teen horror tarot and the romantic comedy the idea of you presenting the only possible threats to the action comedy's dominance. Although the latter is based on a bestseller, it is unlikely to dethrone The Fall Guy since Anne Hathaway is its lone A-list star. Meanwhile, Tarot could be a surprise sleeper hit, but this supernatural horror beating The Fall Guy would be almost unimaginable. If anything, Gosling's upcoming action movie may face competition from Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes or the following week's Furiosa, a Mad Max saga. However, The Fall Guy's opening weekend will already be secured by that stage, and the decision to release it at the beginning of the summer blockbuster season is likely to prove wise.